Hey loves, this is Andrea Michelle, and you're listening to the Finding Bliss podcast, episode number 94. Today we're going to discuss giving up. It's so easy to give up and harder to endure. Let's get into it.
We've all heard how different sciences and religion are, but are they really that different? In Finding Bliss, we'll explore how the rules of attraction really don't change between the two. Andrea Michelle, certified life coach and program creator, will show you how to find the perfect happiness you crave in the midst of chaos. We'll explore how you can create your own happiness and ignore the negative external factors in your life. We're so excited that you're joining with us in our journey to Finding Bliss.
Hey, loves. Welcome back to the Finding Bliss podcast. And if you are new around here, like this is your first time listening in, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. If this is your first time, there are 93 other episodes for you to binge listen to, and I hope you enjoy each and every one of them. So, in all honesty, this episode right here is very spontaneous. You may have noticed that I have not put out a podcast episode since I believe around May or June or something like that. And I made the conscious decision to actually take all of my programming, my podcast, my group coaching, my mentorship, my mastermind, to take it all offline and to basically tear it down to rebuild it. And so even right now, as I'm recording this episode, the only way for you to actually work with me is through my private concierge coaching, which is one-on-one, or my course, A Journey into Purpose Consciousness. My group coaching is currently offline, my mastermind is offline, and my mentorship is offline. But the reason why I wanted to come before you today is because, as many of you know, if you've been listening to me or following me, you know that I fundamentally believe that everything that I experience in my life, I'm supposed to share it with you all. And not only am I supposed to share it with you all, but I believe that I go through things in my life as I don't know, what do you say, like a precursor? Like, I go through these things so that I can show up better for you, show up better for my clients, so that when you go through these things, I'll be able to support you in a very authentic, compassionate, empathetic, and sympathetic way. And so I just believe that everything that I go through, I have to share it with you guys, with you all, because if you don't need this information right now, there will come a time in the future where you may need this information, and I want to have it out there for you to at least be able to refer back to. So I want to talk to you today about giving up. And the reason why I want to talk to you about giving up is because I almost gave up. And I know that that may surprise some people, that may be shocking to some people, because a lot of people see me and they think, oh my gosh, Andrea, you have it all together. Like, wow, I'm so impressed. I don't know how you're doing it, because they see me showing up every day. And so a lot of people think that because I show up every day, I must have everything all together and things are working out and flowing perfectly for me. And I just want to tell you that that is not true. Is everything working out for me? Absolutely. But is it easy for me to show up the way that I do every day? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And if anyone were to tell you that it's easy for them to get up every day and show up and grind and work hard and put their heads down and, full steam ahead, they're lying to you. But the truth of the matter is, it's not easy to do these things. It's not easy to show up. It's not easy to be vulnerable. It's not easy to share things with you, right? Like, it's not easy for me to come before you and tell you that I almost gave up. But you know what? It's worth it. It's worth it because I understand that when I share my stories with you, that when I show up authentically, when I stand in my own power, I am giving you permission to do the same. And that in and of itself is empowering, it's encouraging, and it's inspiring to me. So, what do you mean, Andrea? You almost gave up. Please do tell. I want to know. Of course, everybody wants to know. So, as you know, I am now a full-time entrepreneur. I'm not, I don't rely on my corporate paycheck every other week, or I don't even remember twice a month. I don't even remember how often I got paid. But anyway, I no longer rely on that paycheck. Like every penny that I bring into my bank account, it is the result of the work or the effort that I give, that I put out there, right? And really, it's a matter of me putting myself out there. Because I am a coach, then my brand is me. I am my brand. And so when people invest in me, they're not investing in, say, the coaching industry. They're investing in Andrea Michelle, right? And so every dollar that I bring into my business, it is the result of me showing up. So I also have a coach. I have, and I'll, obviously as a business owner, there are a number of other expenses that I have. I have 2 people working for me part-time. I have software. I'm not going to get off into it, but I have expenses. Not only that, but I have an entire household, 3,500 square foot house that we have to provide for with 2 children and a husband, right? And so very recently I had one of my expenses come out, and I have my PayPal set to go to my credit card because I don't want anything to bounce. If my funds are being transitioned or transferred between PayPal and my other accounts, I don't want my bank account to be overdrawn. So I just have it come from my credit card. Now I'm being very open and vulnerable with y'all now, so stay with me. So I have them go through my credit card so that, again, nothing bounces. Well, I had one of my payments, which was close to $2,000, to hit my bank account. Well, my bank declined it because I didn't have the money in my account at the time. It was sitting on my credit card because what I do is the money comes in, I pay the credit card off to keep the, funds available. But PayPal hit my bank account. And so, of course, my bank declined it. I expected that. And I'm emailing PayPal like, hey, you guys need to hit the credit card, not the bank account. Everything is defaulted to go to this credit card. And this is how I know that everything really, truly does happen for a reason. So everything is set to go to my credit card. This time it didn't. The bank declined it. So what I did was I manually paid this expense to PayPal, transferred, sent the money to this vendor so that they can get paid, because I didn't want them to think, hey, I'm flaking out and not paying them, right? So then PayPal, they sent me this email, same day I go and manually pay. PayPal also decides to pay it after they told me that, hey, it's declined. PayPal told me it was declined. So PayPal also pays it. So I'm like, okay, so now I have this negative balance sitting in my PayPal account. And I'm like, okay, but I paid this PayPal. What are y'all doing? Fast forward, I have payments for my clients coming in. It's paying the balance down. And guess what PayPal decides to do? It decides to submit the exact same payment to my bank. So I go to check my bank account, making sure the numbers are coming in and the payments that are supposed to come in, expecting to see some money sitting in my account so I can pay some bills, right? And there's a negative balance. And PayPal submitted the exact same payment that my bank declined almost 2 weeks later again. So here I am sitting with a negative balance in my bank account. Y'all, that must have been the right thing to do at the right time, because I'm not even going to lie, I flipped out. I had to excuse myself from my husband and my children. We were in the middle of having a good conversation, and I saw that, and I went upstairs to my bedroom, and y'all, I flipped out. I said the F word at least 3 times. And if you've been following me, or if you know me, you know that I do not I don't swear, only for demonstrative purposes, right? Like if I'm explaining, something to someone and someone said it, then I'll say it. But like for my own good, I just don't, because I've learned how to just articulate what it is that I want to say and express myself, right? Not that day. I was punching the air. I was like, what am I supposed to do? Why the F did this happen? Why the F does this keep happening? Why me? I'm so tired of this. And, all of these things, y'all. Actually, I even threw my phone. I'm not even going to lie. I threw my phone across the room. But of course, I'm still conscious. So I threw it across the room, but I threw it like on the floor, and I threw it in a way that I knew it wouldn't break, because the last thing I want to do is get another phone, because they're expensive these days. But anyway, I even threw my phone across the room. That's how upset I was. And then I said, okay, wait, Andrea, this energy is not going to get you anywhere. You need to calm down. And so I grabbed my phone, and this was the moment of truth here. I grabbed my phone, sitting on my bedroom floor, leaning against my bed, and I turned my phone on, and I had two options. The first option was I should say I had two thoughts. The first thought was to go to LinkedIn and start looking for a job, go back into corporate where I know I could easily make six figures and be a VP, a CFO, or whatever senior level management, because that's where I was when I left corporate. So that was one thought, go to LinkedIn and start looking for a job. But even that very thought didn't feel in alignment to me. So my next thought was, okay, go to your people. And so what I did was I put a message out to my people about working with me privately. And in the moment, that felt in alignment. That felt like the very best thing or next thing for me to do. And so that's exactly what I did. So that happened at night. I got up the next morning, and this is why it's important, y'all, to allow your emotions to flow, to process your emotions, and to not hold on to it. Because if that would have happened to me last night and I was so angry, almost enraged, if I wouldn't have done anything with that, I would have gotten up the next day feeling the exact same way, and probably worse off, because I would have continued to recycle those same emotions and play the same thoughts in my head, and therefore rooting it deeper inside of me. And so I woke up, felt so much better. And then I had a thought. And I even said this to my husband. I said, you know what? Giving up is easy. It would have been so easy for me to go to LinkedIn and put in a resume, submit my resume to however many, companies I would have deemed suitable for me, right? It would have been so easy for me to just say, F it. I'm done. Entrepreneurship is not for me. I'm done. The harder thing is, and it's not even when it comes to entrepreneurship, this is when it comes to life. The harder thing is staying in it. The harder thing is enduring. The harder thing is showing up every day, not knowing when your breakthrough is going to happen. The harder thing is waking up every day with an expectation that today is going to be better than yesterday, even though you don't have any physical proof, any proof in your outer world that tells you differently. That's the hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to do. But also, because it is the harder thing to do, it's also the worthy thing to do. Because it is the harder thing to do, it's also the more empowering thing to do. Because it is the harder thing to do, it's also the more inspirational thing to do. And so I just want to encourage you that if you feel like giving up, don't. If you feel like it's too much, stay with me, stay in there and fight. Because here's what I realize. Everyone wants to stand at the top of the mountain, but not everyone wants to climb to the top of the mountain, right? Because when you are climbing, when you are ascending to the top of the mountain, everything in you will be challenged. You will be challenged spiritually. You will be challenged mentally. You will be challenged emotionally, and you will certainly be challenged physically. And not many people want to be challenged. And that's why everybody is not standing on the top of the mountain. You know, there's a scripture in the Bible that says the race is not given to the swift or to the strong, but to the one who endures until the end. See, it's not about how strong you think you are, right? It's not about who you believe your family is, but it is about your ability to endure and take whatever it is and say thank you and keep going. If you want to stand at the top of the mountain, then you have to be willing to endure what happens in the valley, and you have to be willing to endure the ascent. If you are not willing to endure the ascent, to go through whatever it is that is necessary, the cuts and the bruises and the fatigue, if you are not willing to do that, then the top is not the place for you. Because it is not easy getting to the top. And as I was out running just this morning, it came to me, Andrea, you say that you want to be, or that you are, the number one purpose educator in the world. You say that you want to reach millions of people, and you want to help women and little girls heal while discovering their purpose and their passion. You say that this is what you want. But are you willing to endure what it takes to make that happen? And while I was out running this morning, I said, yes. And I actually said it so loud, I had to look around me to make sure no one was behind me so they didn't think, I was losing my mind. But it came to me, the question came to me. Are you willing to endure? I asked for this. I asked for this. When I said, Lord, use me, I asked for this. When I said, show me my purpose and let me pursue my purpose and my passion. When I put that in desire out there, and when I set the intention, then what I did was I set forth an energy in the universe to make it happen. And the energy to make that happen, to be number one, to stand at the top of the mountain, you have to endure. You have to go through something. You absolutely have to. There is nobody in this world today, living or dead, who has been successful at anything who has not endured, and dare I say hell. Everybody who's experienced success have failed. The one thing that will always precede success is failure. But the one thing that separates those who fail and those who succeed is that those who succeed, they look at the quote unquote failure as a lesson. And they take what they need from the lesson and they apply it towards their future. And that's why they succeed. But what they don't do is give up. They don't give up. And so I want to encourage you not to give up. Because believe you me, before I came before you to record this episode, I had to affirm the same thing to myself, and I had to tell myself the same thing I had to say. Andrea, don't give up. Don't give up, Andrea. Yes, you could easily throw in the towel. Yes, you could easily walk away from it all. But is that you pursuing your purpose and passion? And the answer is no. So again, y'all, hang in there. No matter how bleak it gets, no matter how dark it gets, no matter how rough the waters get, you have to hang in there, because the reward of enduring is so much sweeter than the pangs of failure.